Hey everyone, welcome to the next video of the Spanish Conversation for Beginners video, where we get you conversing as quickly as possible, instantly, even as a complete beginner of Spanish, and thereby learn the language by using the language, which is the natural way to learn a language. It's the way we all learned our first language, by using the language, not by studying the language. Because how can you study the language if you don't know the language? The name of this lesson is Opening Conversation, and the theory here is if we begin a lesson, pretend this was a live face-to-face lesson, I'd want to see how long we could stay in Spanish at the beginning of the lesson, right? And so each time we had a lesson, I'd want to push it a couple minutes each time until pretty soon the whole hour and a half is all Spanish, and then your job is done basically, or then who knows where we go from there. Poetry, phonology, etymology, philosophy, I don't know. Okay, anyway, opening conversation. So at the beginning of a lesson, or the conversation you may be having with your practice partners, absolutely. Start with hola, of course, right? Hola. And casual, informally, I'll say, ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Okay, so ask me, how are you? ¿Cómo estás? Bien. Thank you. And you? Fine, thanks. And you? Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Something like that. So, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? How do you say how? How is como? I'm going to add a new verb seed for you. Fue means was. Past tense of is, from the verb to be. Ser. ¿Cómo fue? No? ¿Cómo fue? How was? Okay, so again, logical conversation. Hey, how are you? How was your day? What did you do? Your day is tu día. Now I've matricized this, meaning I've spread it out, chunked it, or put it in blocks, because you could also say, how was your night? ¿Cómo fue tu noche? You could also say, how was your week? ¿Cómo fue tu semana? Or how was your weekend? ¿Cómo fue tu fin de semana? Okay, so there's almost always, whenever you learn a phrase or a question or whatever it may be, there's almost always some way to find a weak spot in it, or a variable point, a point where you can switch something out. So, ¿cómo fue X? And X could be tu día, tu noche, tu semana, you see what I'm saying? So it's an important skill to have, is to be able to look at a sentence and know where is the variable, or sometimes variables. In this sentence, ¿cómo fue tu día? ¿Cómo fue tu noche? Right? So, ask a friend, hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien. ¿Cómo fue tu día? ¿Cómo fue tu noche? How was your night? Maybe last night. ¿Cómo fue tu week? ¿Cómo fue tu semana? ¿Cómo fue tu fin de semana? And so on and so forth. And the fue verb starting point also means it was. There's no word for it, so you just go was. Okay, so fue, and then if it was good, you say fue bien. And if it was busy, you say fue ocupado. And if it was fun, you say fue divertido. Divertido, fue bien, fue ocupado, fue divertido. If it was boring, you'd say fue aburrido. By the way, quick point. Noche is feminine word, often ends in A, is feminine. Tu semana, that's feminine. And if that's the case, then you would say fue ocupada. Get it? So just if someone asks, how was your night? ¿Cómo fue tu noche? Then you could say fue ocupada, fue divertida, fue aburrida. If you need some clarification on that, feel free to leave a comment, and we can unpack that a little. But otherwise, if you can suspend disbelief, or if you already get it, beautiful. So ¿cómo fue tu noche? So on and so forth. No, it was good. Fue bien. Fue ocupado, ocupada. So on and so forth. ¿Cómo fue tu día? That's masculine. So fue bien. Fue ocupado. So on and so forth. If you want to know how to say something else here, another adjective, it was hectic or something like that. Leave a comment or look it up, or leave a comment. Let me add one more building block for you here. If you say muy, like moo, like a cow, and then e, but all one syllable. So muy. That's very. So it was very good. Fue muy bien. It was very busy. Fue muy ocupado. It was very fun. Fue muy divertido. It was very boring. Fue muy aburrido. And for good measure, if you say fue with the question tonality, then it's was it, so on and so forth. So, no, so ask me about my day. Ask me, was it fun? Fue divertido. Was it cool? Was it good? Fue bien. Was it busy? Was it very busy? Fue muy ocupado. Was it very boring? Fue muy aburrido. And I could say sí or no. By the way, if you, as always, of course, if you just put no in front of any verb, you get the opposite. So, no fue aburrido, or no fue divertido, no fue ocupado, no fue bien, so on and so forth. We had one more possibility. Pero means but. So if you say, how would you say, here, we'll leave this as a translation exercise. It was very busy, but it was good. That's your translation exercise. Leave a comment on the answer. That's that. Your opening conversation. Hi, how are you? How was your day? And from there, we're going to build into what did you do today, which is going to require the past tense side of the verb timeline. Move into what are you doing right now, which teaches you present tense and continuous. I'm doing this. And what are you going to do tomorrow, which is for the future tense, right? So we're combining conversation and structure. You know, a little structure creates infinite conversation because it's all a mix and match game. The more conversation you have, the more it reinforces and builds your structure. So that's the yin and the yang.